So you're having a wonderful day at Yosemite with your friends. It's great. You go to Glacier Point, it's great. The view is great. Sun peeks out through the clouds, lights up the mountain, looks beautiful. And then disaster comes. So let's start a little bit back. We were at Glacier Point and we knew that this area would close at around 4. At the higher portion of the mountain, I guess snow kind of affects the area a lot more than the bottom. But we left around 2 thinking everything would be okay. As we were leaving Glacier Point, it started to lightly snow. That's what we were expecting for snow. Light snow, nothing crazy. We were basking in the snow, being Californians, enjoying the area, being creative. And then we see a batch of cars leave. And we're like, okay, I think it might be time for us to really go. And as we're leaving, the snow really starts to kind of come in. And I'm like, okay, I have grip right now, I'm fine. But when it really comes in and the ground is covered, a thin layer of snow, my car starts to not be so grippy. But I'm trying to keep up with my friend Marco. He's rolling at 30. And I'm like, crap, I'm trying to keep up. I try to radio into him, but my radio dies to slow down. I couldn't keep up. And at one point, my car just slid completely to the right, losing complete traction. My car slid, again, so close. It slid across the opposite lane. And I was like literally looking at my left window and seeing this pole come close to me. No one saw this on social, like on Instagram. I posted this video, no one mentioned about that pole, but I was sliding really close to that pole. I got into the ditch a little bit. Nothing was scraped on the ground. Very thankful. It took me twice to try to get out of that little ditch. The first time I kind of just spun my tire. The second time I finally got up and got out. But when I got back into my proper lane, the car literally slid a little bit to the right. I was just driving slow and I crept a little bit closer to the freaking edge. That was crazy. Me and my friend Wilminza was like, she was like, yeah, you can keep driving. Just don't go to that edge. So I crept down that mountain at like 5 miles per hour. It was definitely a little bit interesting. I then at one point caught up with my friend Marco, and he had an interesting story to tell from his perspective about how he saw my car.
I was pretty focused on the road because it's icy. So every now and then I would look at the mirror, but I guess by the time you slipped, it was just a little bit after I had looked. So I didn't look for a little minute, and then I looked at the rearview mirror and I was like, oh my god, the headlights look like they're a little bit too far to the left to be in the right lane. And then I kind of looked back again and I was like, I don't see any headlights anymore. And then I pulled up the little radio and I was like, Jackson, are you there? Jackson? Which of course it cut off at the worst time, right?
Yeah, my radio literally died. I'm not sure if what was the last thing that you heard me say?
I can't remember. It was probably moving over a lane or something.
I said, can you slow down?
Oh, I didn't hear that one. But by the time we were further down and did that right turn after that point, after seeing multiple cars slipped on the side of the road, I was like, okay, we gotta drive a little bit more carefully.
As we kept going, I round this one light corner. It wasn't aggressive or anything, and my car literally you could see my car from the distance from the curb that much. It literally just slid and hit the curb. Luckily, I had my wheel turned in a way where it hit the tire instead of the rim, because if it hit the rim, that would have been really bad. And at that point, I was just like, I'm not driving anymore. With the first incident and then this incident, my feet and hands were just not, they were definitely a little bit shaky. And I was just and I just thought in my head, it is no longer safe for me to continue driving. I know my tires are not in good condition right now, even though they're all seasons, but they're just not in good condition. I wasn't, again, thinking that I would be driving in this type of condition. And I got caught by it. Thinking completely about my friend's safety, I just didn't want to keep driving, and we hitched a ride down the mountain in another car, and it was a Rivian. It's an outdoor vehicle. It's an EV. We know we're going to be safe in that car. We caught up with our friends. Everyone's, fine and dandy, but for me, I'm definitely shook. I'm I left my car behind, and I was really scared. Because again, me going around that turn and just my car just sliding to the right, I'm now having thoughts of crap, what happened if someone hits my car? And I can't go back up to get my car. It's they were shutting off that road up to Glacier Point, so no one can go up. You can only go down and get out. We got to Yosemite Village, and I stopped by the Welcome Center, and I asked them about my situation. I said, hey, I need some help and some thoughts on my situation. This person that helped me out had radioed in with the park rangers and asked about what's going on outside and told me what I could do. So she told me that most likely I wouldn't be able to get back to my car in the next 6 hours or the next morning. And my friends are leaving in the next hour or so. It's like 4 or 5 o'clock. They just want to see the sunset and dip. And I was like, damn, I'm about to be stranded. I'm about to be left behind. That's fine. I'm okay with that. It's just like crap. I was hoping to. I was hoping to go to Sacramento that night, but I'm gonna be stuck here. I asked her like, would it be possible if a park ranger would be able to take me up to my car? And she said no. No civilians are allowed inside government vehicles, which I thought was a little bit weird. I can't argue with her about that. And she said that like the next morning, if when things clear up, I'm more than happy to give you a marker and a cardboard to make a sign. Again, I was just feeling really hopeless. Like I really didn't have much help. The stores around were closing. They close at 8, and I need a place to kind of rest my head down or just sit. And there was a resort nearby. Somebody has like a resort in the center. And I said, like, do you think the resort would just allow me to sit in the lobby overnight? Like, I can't afford a room. And she looked at me and said that I don't think that's part of their business model. And I was like, crap, dude. I'm most likely gotta, if I have to, I'll sleep outside. Like, I can't afford a room right now. It was, I was just running out of options and losing hope. But I know I'm gonna be okay. Like, I gotta just keep moving forward, right? Like, talking about this story is really putting me through the emotions. I haven't felt that sad in my life in a long time. Like, I was so slow, just hearing all the options she's giving me, and I'm just like, I'm running out. Like, I'm really out here. I'm really out here by myself. I mean, sure, I can, run up to people and ask them for a ride and hitch a ride or something. But like, you kind of, let's be honest, when you ask people for help and you get a couple of no's, it kind of takes something out of you. But I've done that before. I've asked people to help me jump my car in a parking lot before and been given some pretty nasty answers. But she said in the morning, likely that's when they'll plow it, and that's how cars are able to get up. And if my car is in the way of the plower, they're gonna tow my car. And one, I'd have to pay to get it out if they tow my car. Two, my car is an all-wheel drive. They're probably not gonna care about that and tow the car as if it's a front-wheel drive and break my transmission. Like, I was literally thinking about all the costs that it would take to get my car back and how expensive it was going to be. And I was like, I can't afford this right now. And I just started thinking like, damn, like my car might be hit. Like, how much is going to cost to get my car like towed and all this stuff. I can't even get a ride up there, because I'm juggling. Like, if I need to get a ride up there before my car can get towed, it's just like I can't even get a ride up there if the road isn't plowed. Like, I'm just running out of options. Like, a park ranger can't drive me up. Like, what the? I was like, damn, like, do I gotta walk up there? Like, do I gotta sleep under a roof tonight, just to get me by? And as I got closer to sunset, it stopped snowing. We stepped outside, we looked at the sky, and it started to show a little bit of blue. And I knew for sure that meant high up in the mountains it stopped snowing. Like, that has to mean I should be able to get to my car somehow, right? Like, if I have to, I can walk up there. So we talked to a park ranger, and they said, you can drive up to Tunnel View, but you can't go past the tunnel. And I was like, yes, okay. Marco wanted to go up to Tunnel View. So he took me. We went up there so that everyone can enjoy whatever bit left of the sunset view. And I was able to talk to a park ranger as I saw one at the end of the tunnel, and I was like, hey, is there any way you guys could drive me to my car, even though I was already told at the bottom that that's not going to happen. And they said with no hesitation, yeah, we can. I showed them where the car was, and yeah, I like nearly fell apart in front of them. And I felt so weak, and I felt so embarrassed to be like that in front of people like that. I ran back to my friend Marco and my Menzo, and I told them that they can take me back to my car, and that things are looking better. And my voice was cracking. I was trying to hold in my tears, and I felt so embarrassed to be like that. I don't normally like having people see me like that. And I know that, like, for many people they'll say it's okay, but I just don't want people seeing me like that. A lot of racing thoughts in my head. I hitch a ride with the National Park Ranger, and as he's driving up, I'm having all these thoughts in my head. Is my car okay? As it hit, I'm like, do I have to set up a GoFundMe? Because I do not have enough money right now to buy another car. It's a lot of racing thoughts. But I finally get back to my car, and as I'm approaching it, it looks all intact. And I'm so happy, so grateful. Park rangers set cones around my car, and they guided people around it. I was able to drive my car out with ease, no issues. I was at a complete relief that I was able to get back to my car. again, because I was willing to sleep outside if I had to, because I couldn't afford a room. You know, if I can't even sit in a lobby overnight, I'll sleep outside. You know, I'll figure it out. And as I was driving through the tunnel with my car, I made sure I downshifted so my friends knew that I was coming back. And in the parking lot, there was one person waiting for me. It was my friend Marco, and I really appreciate that. I stepped out of my car and I asked him, "Hey, man, like, it was his idea to want to go take photos at Tunnel View because to get a better view of whatever light we had left. As the other people in the group were trying to figure out what to do. I asked Marco, like, "Hey, man, like, was you wanting to take like photos at Tunnel View, like your way of trying to get me close to my car?" And he was like, "Yeah." I really appreciate that. Marco is a quiet guy. He doesn't say much, but I feel like this was his way of showing his support and trying to help me. So let's go over some avoidable things to do next time. Definitely talk to park rangers if you're concerned about snow and before it comes. But to have this be a little bit more avoidable, make sure your tires are in good condition for the snow. Again, I thought that the snow would be light and I wouldn't be caught by snow. My tires are bald on the inside due to camber wear, so that's definitely on me. But again, that's tough. Like, I wasn't expecting to drive in the snow like that. I thought it'd just be like drizzle, like light snow, like you saw in like the beginning, like in this right here. But definitely scary to slide like that. Another thing, drive super slow. You don't have to drive 25, 30 miles. Definitely don't. Drive like 10 miles per hour. If you have a manual car or an automatic where you can select your gears, put it in first and let the car just roll. Just like if you're in San Francisco and you're on a really steep hill, you put the car in a lower gear and let the engine help slow down the car and resist it as it goes down. Don't hit up the brakes. Don't be scary with the brakes. Press it lightly. You want to be steady with the brakes. If you slam on it, the car's going to slide. I guarantee you that. For anyone that has watched this video all the way to the very end, I really appreciate you guys. And I appreciate everyone who showed their support on Instagram. It was definitely a wild time. It's really interesting to share these type of things and experiences on the internet. It's it's a lot. If you guys have any questions or anything or comments down below, I'll definitely do my best to reply to all of them. It was a very memorable day, a day that I will definitely tell for sure as I get older. But I'm not in a rush for that. So, though I may have been sad talking about this story, it's something that I can, because I was trying to walk through every step of the stress I was going through. It's just something funny to kind of talk about now, because it was a wild story, and we're all safe. We conquered. We moved forward, but definitely a little bit of a failure for sure. It's a very stressful day. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys around.